Let's go Broncos! Something is happening around the Denver Broncos that has AFC West fans paying very close attention, and surprisingly, it's not because of a blockbuster trade or a shocking injury update. Instead, the conversation has exploded after a growing number of rival fans began insisting that Denver is about to take a major step backward this season. But are those predictions based on reality, or are they simply ignoring what this Broncos roster has actually become? According to a new discussion, there's a strong argument that Denver's defense isn't heading for regression at all. In fact, many believe it could become even better than it was a season ago, and if that's true, the rest of the AFC West may have a serious problem on its hands. What's making this debate even more intense is that it's no longer just Broncos fans defending their team. Critics are predicting an 8 or 9 win season, questioning the defense, doubting the offense, and claiming Denver simply isn't ready to compete with the NFL's elite. But the discussion pushes back against every one of those arguments, pointing to the talent already on the roster, the continuity within the coaching staff, and the depth that has quietly been built across nearly every position on the defensive side of the football. If those points prove accurate, Broncos country may be looking at one of the league's most complete defenses once again. But before we continue, make sure you've already hit the like button if you believe the Denver Broncos are ready to prove every doubter wrong this season. And if you're one of the fans who believes Denver can take over the AFC West, comment this right now. Go Broncos! The AFC West runs through Denver. Now let's get straight into the biggest story. According to the discussion, one of the most common criticisms being directed at the Broncos this offseason is the belief that their defense will inevitably regress. But the response to that criticism was immediate. The first question raised was simple. Where exactly is this defense supposed to regress? The discussion acknowledged that Denver did lose John Franklin Myers and also noted there are questions surrounding Jonathan Cooper's situation. Those are legitimate talking points. However, beyond those concerns, the argument presented was that the foundation of the defense remains remarkably strong. The secondary was highlighted first. Patrick Surtain, too, remains one of the premier cornerbacks in football. Riley Moss returns with another season of experience. Jaquan McMillan continues to be viewed as one of the league's top slot defenders. The safety group remains intact, and the conversation also pointed toward Jade Barron as another talented piece expected to contribute after entering the organization. Then attention shifted to the front seven. The discussion emphasized that players like Zach Allen, DJ Jones, Nick Benito, Malcolm Roach, Alex Singleton, Dre Greenlaw, and several younger contributors provide Denver with quality talent throughout the defensive front and linebacker group. There was also mention of additional young depth continuing to develop behind the established starters. That naturally leads to another question. If the core of the defense remains together, if many of the key contributors are returning, if younger players are expected to continue improving, why is regression considered inevitable? According to the discussion, it simply isn't. In fact, another point was brought up that many fans may overlook. This defense enters another season with continuity. The coaching system remains in place. The players already understand the scheme. Communication should improve. Execution should become even cleaner. And according to the discussion, that continuity alone gives Denver a realistic opportunity to be just as effective, or possibly even better, than it was last season. But that wasn't the only topic creating headlines. Because as the discussion continued, attention quickly shifted toward one of Denver's biggest rivals. According to the discussion, much of the criticism surrounding Denver isn't really about the Broncos themselves. Instead, it's about expectations that many rival fan bases simply refuse to change. The conversation specifically highlighted reactions from Kansas City supporters who continue predicting that Denver will finish with only 8 or 9 wins while insisting the Broncos are nowhere near legitimate contenders. But the discussion pushed back against those predictions in a very direct way. The argument was simple. If someone believes the Broncos are going to regress, they should explain exactly where that decline is supposed to happen. Because when the roster is examined position by position, the discussion argued that Denver still possesses elite talent across every level of the defense. At cornerback, Patrick Surtain, too, continues leading one of the strongest secondaries in football. Alongside him, Riley Moss returns with another full season of experience, while Jaquan McMillan remains a critical piece in the slot. Behind them, additional depth gives the Broncos flexibility that very few teams possess. The linebacker group also received considerable praise. The discussion pointed toward returning veterans while emphasizing that younger players continue developing inside the system. That combination of experience and youth is exactly what every defense hopes to build. Then there's the defensive line. Zach Allen continues anchoring the interior. Nick Bonito remains one of the most dangerous edge rushers on the roster. DJ Jones returns. Malcolm Roach provides additional depth. And according to the discussion, there are still younger players waiting for opportunities to emerge as contributors. When all of those pieces are viewed together, the conclusion presented was straightforward. This isn't a defense entering a rebuilding phase. This is a defense entering another season with continuity. And continuity matters. Players become more comfortable. Communication improves. Assignments become second nature. Mistakes decrease. According to the discussion, that's exactly why another year in the same defensive system could actually help Denver improve rather than decline. But perhaps the most emotional part of the conversation centered on the AFC West. The discussion suggested that much of the criticism coming from Kansas City supporters reflects growing confidence inside Broncos country that Denver is becoming a much stronger challenger within the division. The conversation then contrasted Denver's current situation with concerns it raised about Kansas City's roster. According to the discussion, questions were raised regarding the Chiefs' offensive line, roster planning, and several veteran players, while arguing that Denver is trending upward because of the way its roster has been assembled. Whether those opinions ultimately prove correct will only be answered once the regular season begins. But one thing is undeniable. Week 1 is already generating enormous anticipation, because that's when all the offseason predictions finally meet reality. No more projections. No more debates. No more power rankings. Just football. And according to the discussion, Broncos country is more than ready for that moment. The discussion also emphasized another important point that often gets overlooked during the offseason. Talent on paper only tells part of the story. Execution determines everything. Denver believes it has assembled one of the deepest rosters it has had in years. Now the challenge is proving it every Sunday. If this defense performs at the level many inside Broncos country expect, if the continuity within the coaching staff translates into even better communication, if the young contributors continue taking another step forward, then the predictions of regression could disappear very quickly. And that's why training camp becomes so important. Every practice, every preseason snap, every position battle, each one helps shape what this team will become once the regular season officially begins. The excitement inside Broncos country isn't being fueled by one player alone. It's being fueled by the belief that this roster has improved collectively, that the defense still has elite talent, that the coaching staff has continuity, and that the Broncos are entering the season with something every contender wants: confidence. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Denver Broncos update. And now I want to hear from Broncos country. Do you believe the Broncos defense will be even better than last season, or do you think this unit simply needs to maintain its current level for Denver to become a true Super Bowl contender? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. ***.